Hello, hello. This is Mr. Eddie Reyes. At this moment, we will discuss this uh, electronics section of the automotive units, or the small engine or motorcycle engine. So this is the request of some friends in the states. No? Okay. So sorry do sa mga technicians na sinusundan yung vlog ko, pero simple lang naman. This is a simple English. Hindi naman tayo fluent. I'm not fluent in English. So I will try because this is the request. This time I'm going to discuss and explain the electronic section of the automotive and motorcycle in English. I will try, no. Sorry, so kung I have an error in discussing. So, uh, one of the section of the automotive and motorcycle unit is the CDI. CDI means it is a capacitance discharge ignition. CDI energizes the electrical system of the engine. So CDI means uh, I'm repeating, capacitance discharge ignition. The capacitance, sorry. Oh, this is the request by my other viewers so that they can easily understand the principles. Okay, I will try my best. No, anyway, let's begin. We have here a schematic diagram of or wiring diagram of CDI. If you're not familiar uh, of the component, we will discuss it one by one and name it and explain the function. So we have here the ignition coil, which is the big deal in CDI. Big deal because it produces high voltage, which is 30,000 volts to 40,000 volts. So the ignition coil designed to give high voltage needed by spark plug. In automotive, the spark plug standard is it has a 4 spark plug, and they uh, they energize one of the 4 spark plug. Ignition coil is a kind of transformer with primary and secondary coil. This is the primary and secondary coil. Its its center its center is a core, which is a carbon core. A carbon core is a powdered iron which was rebaked and molded to a core. some other transformer, which is very common, is the laminated iron core. But this time, this ignition coil is so special because it will produce a so much high voltage. So it is so special. Mm. So it has also an SCR. A SCR is a silicon control rectifier. It belongs to a family of diodes. So if you're familiar with diodes, some of you are maybe a technician or know something, something in electronics, because diode is so very common in electronics, like a resistor. So the SCR has a three terminal: the anode, the cathode, and the gate. Okay. So yeah, that is the terminal, anode, cathode, and the gate. So its function is the when this gate receives a gate voltage, this anode and cathode will connect, so will conduct. Okay. So we have here a diode, no? Diode. A two-terminal anode and cathode, like SCR, but the SCR has a special gate. Uh, Anode and cathode function when the anode receives positive electromotive force, that is a pressure, it will conduct, it will become a small conductor. But when the anode receives the negative electromotive force, it will not conduct. Okay, it's considered as open. How about the capacitor? This is a capacitor. No? Capacitor has a two plates. It is made of two plates separated by uh, we call it dielectric or insulator. There are many kinds of capacitors that has an insulator like mica, electrolyte. Okay. So, what is the function of of the capacitor? Capacitor is known to be a storage of voltage. So it stores and save the voltage. That is the capacitor. Uh, how about this one? No? This one is an exciter coil. In a motorcycle, we found it in the bottom or the side of the engine. No? And we have also the the ring magnet embedded in a rotor there. This rotor is connected to the crankshaft of the engine. The crankshaft is the has a connecting rod to the piston. Okay. So the exciter is a coil, when when the engine starts to run, the rotor will spin it up in a rotate. It rotates, no, and facing the exciter, and the ring of magnet embedded there is a north south north south north south. So the magnet which here in the rotor will induce. So according to Paradise law, magnet or moving magnet or motion, magnet in motion, in a coil will produce a certain voltage here. But facing the north, the sinusoidal wave which produce the coil will also invert in alternate. Sometimes this is positive, sometimes this is negative. Like this one. This is the we flat the the expanding or the moving voltage here. This is a sine wave or sinusoidal wave. So the exciter coil, when receive a magnetic lines of force here, it will convert into a voltage. So when it is positive, there will flow it in the diode. So like I said, if the anode receives the positive side of the sinusoidal wave, it will forward or forward bias. It means that it will change it into a conductor. So the current will flow here and store the voltage here in the capacitor. When the north or south rotates, and this one will be positive or negative, the diode will not conduct because this is negative and positive. So the storage voltage here stored there. It remains in storage, store. When the south, again, because it is rotating, facing again the exciter coil, it will charge. So the the capacitance or the capacitor will be charged tremendously. So the store voltage will be higher here in uh, capacitor. So that is the dwelling or dwell time. No, it's the period that the capacitor charging for every facing the north and south magnet. When this is another component. We call it component. We have here a pulsar, rotary pulsar, and this is a trigger. It is small coil with a carbon, oh, and this is a small magnet here. When it rotates, that is the dwelling period of your 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 storage. The storage is the dwelling period of a capacitor. When the magnet phase, the carbon or the coil here, it will produce a small amount of voltage and trimmed by resistors and serves as a gate voltage. A gate voltage is like a faucet that you open or you switch, then it will connect. So the charge here will go here and there. So the positive or the the primary coil will energize so much uh, that it will bring the magnetic lines of force in the core, the confinement of magnetic line of force, and then uh, magnet in moving and the coil, this will produce a large amount of voltage, which is the high voltage. Because the ratio is small to large, or 1:2, or 1:5, or within so much uh, mat, mathematical equation we have. We will not. We're only analyzing how it works. So if you shut off this system, this is the on-off switch. The all the current here will go down or will drain to ground, so the system will not function. So that is my simple explanation of a CDI, capacitance. Before, the automotive, which uses the contact point, easily not functioning. It easily destroyed. So destroyed, or hirap nito. Hindi masyadong mag-English. Anyway, thank you very much for your viewing, and please subscribe and like my YouTube channel. Anyway, maybe in practicing this kind of explanation, I will be more fluent in explaining. Thank you very much. Sorry for more grammar error. Okay, this is Mr. Eddie Reyes. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.